master's test is in 2 weeks. We'll go through the grid. We've done this 1,000 times. Ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
That's not good enough.
If you haven't spent every waking minute preparing for this test.
This has always been Abby's dream.
We have quite a dynamic duo today. They are filmmakers, Shannon Meehan. She is a filmmaker, an actor, producer in front of the camera. Behind the camera is Mark Ward, filmmaker, writer, director, producer, and editor of Masters, among others. We'll be talking about Master today. Masters, guys, thank you for being on the show. I have been really enjoying our pre-game conversation. Now we're live, we're recording, no pressure. Can you guys introduce yourselves to the audience however you'd like?
Mark Ward, as you said, writer, director, producer, editor of Masters, filmmaker in general, artist in life, grappler, martial artist, gamer, puzzle maker, problem solver, anything and everything. I try to do it to the best of my ability, including failure. I fail to the best of my ability. What are you laughing at? Failing is
I'm laughing because
failing is crucial, man.
it's honest
can't get better
in a
fuck
way
up.
that most people aren't, and it's refreshing.
Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Shannon Meehan. I am primarily an actor. I have been forced into various other roles
By Mark or by
out of necessity for I want to play interesting characters. And sometimes the best way to do that is to help him write them. But I don't like it.
That's
Well-
how it goes, man. You got to pay your dues, dude.
Yeah, my dues they cost a lot. Energetically, they cost a lot.
So you're not into the writing process, but you will do it.
I will help with it. It basically, like, he'll write something and then he shows it to me and I read through it and I go, okay, well, this person would never say this because X, Y, or Z, or this doesn't match the consistency of this character because they're not this kind of person, and then he fixes it. But I don't actually typically write, like, I don't type out lines. I give him feedback and then he fixes it.
Typing is not writing, man. 90% of the writing process is staring slack-jawed out a window. Dead serious. I mean, you see how fast I write when I sit down. You know why I type so fast and write so fast is because it's already done. I did it when I was...
You're making writing sound so appealing. I so wish
You love staring out windows.
It's true. I do love staring at windows.
Well, I know after talking to you guys for a little bit that there's a lot of love between the two of you. However it may seem otherwise, in the tension, and that you guys are quite the creative team. Masters, I watched it. I enjoyed it very much. I think it is well acted and well written and well edited. And so, but what I really liked is the content and the topic and the theme, which we'll get into just momentarily. And before we do, can you guys set up Masters for us in terms of the plot?
Masters is the story of a frazzled young woman who is preparing to take the hardest test in the world. That's all we tell people.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to fill it in a little more. Shannon,
Shannon would like to elaborate.
Yes, please.
So I watched this amazing documentary called 𝘔𝘢, which follows a group of people who are studying for the master sommelier test, which is like an insanely difficult test. We watched it and we were like, we could make something from this.
Well, it was
But absurd.
It's fascinating because they're obsessed. The drive, the dedication, the punishment they put themselves through to essentially be wine tasters, to be wine recommenders.
I mean,
it's the most niche thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But Jesus Christ, how can you not sympathize and empathize with the punishment they put themselves through, like, as an artist?
Like, part of their test is the actual test. They give them 6 glasses of wine, 3 are red, 3 are white. They have 25 minutes.
I think so.
and they have to identify the wine based purely on taste and smell.
You mean identify the brand, the make, the model?
Yeah, I don't mean
Year,
identify like
year.
this is a Cabernet, like year, region it came from,
Oh,
what
wow.
notes it has,
I
like
see.
absurd amount
Yeah,
of
yeah,
detail
yeah.
just from sniffing it and then tasting it.
Okay, so now we're going to dive into it because that is the movie. This is woman getting trained, planning. Shannon plays that character getting trained to take the master's test. She's getting trained by somebody who spent 28 years. Uh, 7 times 4. It comes around every 4 years. He took it 7 times, 28 years, becoming a master. He's a colonel. He's a PhD. He is training his protege.
Ed,
Ed.
Don't cut him off, man.
I'm sorry.
No, Ed, for the audience. So, talking to Mark a little bit, you can already see Mark is a pretty passionate guy, and he's committed, and he's committed to doing his best, and so is this character. So here already, there's a little bit of makings of, but in terms of, and you've mentioned it as well, Shannon, in terms of like, you saw this like really interesting documentary about these people who are like committed to this like niche, narrow specialization, and they're really dedicated to being X. And the movie is this farcical representation of this woman who is studying for it, and she's going after a bag of Cheetos, Doritos, one puff, cheese to the next. And all of a sudden, in that context, there's a spin, right? The dynamic spins, and at least from my perception, and now we're looking at how is it that people are trying to identify themselves through accomplishment and to have some sort of validation in terms of having this badge of honor. So that kind of meat, if I'm in the ballpark of where this is, in terms of one layer of meaning, how did that perspective come from your own experiences to create that farce around this ideal of becoming?
Well, two things. One, I think you just identified my chief insecurity in life.
Mm,
No one has ever touched upon that. Without accomplishment, I feel worthless.
yeah.
Facts.
Holy shit, man. You just cut through me like a butter knife.
Should send this to your
Like a
therapist.
knife through hot butter. Yeah, I should send that to my therapist.
I don't know
I
how sincere you are, but
No,
yeah,
we have no filter.
100%.
No, 100% serious.
Yeah.
You're not alone. I mean, I share it, and I think all the world does too.
So that's the first point. And the second point is that, I mean, so my top three favorite movies of all time. Number one, Predator. I have the 27 by 41 sheet that I have autographed by Alan Silvestri in the next room.
Can we get it?
If you want to take it off the
Can I go
wall,
get it?
yeah, go grab it because I got to go through my top three favorite movies. Predator. Number two is Pulp Fiction. I saw that when I was in 8th grade, and I just didn't know movies could be made like that. My binky when I was 3 years old was a copy of Commando, that my parents recorded off HBO. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I used to carry the VHS around with me, and that was my binky. And then my third favorite movie of all time is tied between The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Airplane. Airplane, Zucker, Abrams, Zucker, Naked Gun, Monty Python. The most absurd, ridiculous shit is generally my vernacular. Oh, that's my Predator poster.
You do this because I don't have normal depth.
Yeah, we were at a film festival in Boston, and then I had to go to Hawaii, and then we had to
Georgia.
go straight to a film festival in Savannah. And we had this overnighted. This is my poster, and it's autographed by Alan Silvestri, who did the score.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's reflecting.
cool.
Shannon had to do to Mark
Nice.
all my best, Alan Silvestri. And that's hanging up over my piano. Shannon had to do some light breaking and entering to get Alan Silvestri's autograph for me because I don't like bothering people. But she's
Wow.
really good about that.
Shannon said she was
Not
Silent
noticed.
Bob, but
I don't
not.
want to be.
Say it again, Shannon.
I'm very good at being not noticed if I don't want to be.
Uh-huh. I see. So you were able to kind of just work it.
In the interview, he mentioned his wife and she stood up, and then after I watched where she went and I told Mark, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go where she goes. Just act like you belong here. And also like no one can see you.
That's super sweet.
We got to meet him.
You did it for your buddy because you knew he
He
would be.
mailed it from New Jersey to Georgia. How do you not make it happen for the like I don't
So
know.
I
Very
guess
cool.
to answer your question, to address the farce of it, I mean, what is life if not a farce? Come on. Anything and everything that we have passions for. We came from dust. We're going back to dust. Nothing we do matters. In 100 years, most people aren't going to remember you. In 1,000 years, no one's going to remember any of us. In 10,000 years, nothing's going to mean anything. What's left over from 10,000 years ago? A statue, a cave painting, some petroglyphs. That's about it. Nothing ultimately matters. So for anybody to be taking anything seriously is a ridiculous conceit from the get-go. And yet it means the world to us. It means the absolute world to us. And that is ridiculous.
But it's
The
not.
dichotomy there is just the stupidest fucking thing.
It
I
is,
will
but
kill
it's
for my
not.
art. What?
It is, but it's not.
It is, but it's not. It's
Because
almost like it's a
we're
fucking dichotomy, bro.
we're here now.
Mm,
Doesn't matter 10,000
mm,
years from now, but to the people that
mm,
are here right now, it
mm,
matters.
mm.
And that's
It.
the point. That's the fucking point. It means the world. To those people just sipping wine, going crazy, breaking up their marriages, ruining their lives. For artists who triple mortgage their houses to fund some movie nobody's going to see. And it means the world to them. Go on.
Something doesn't need to matter forever for it to matter.
I love that. It's so true. And then we can discuss what is forever and what is eternity, and the different planes, material reality and spiritual reality and all that. But it reminds me, thanks Mark and Shannon, it reminds me of two things. One is a really cute and smart Oscar Wilde quote, or not, I guess it's a quote, but it's his words. Life is too important to be taken seriously.
Yes.
So there's something, there that's true and not just clever. And then another is a more spiritual tip where it's you can do no great things, only small things with great love. I'm not sure who said that, if it was Gandhi or someone enlightened, Buddha, I don't know. But so I think, Mark, I'm gathering, like, I appreciate like this intensity to, if you're going to do something, do it, whatever it is. Just give
Anything worth
yourself to it. Give yourself.
anything worth doing is worth doing right.
Yeah.
Anything worth doing is worth doing well. And nothing worth doing is easy.
I like that
Mm.
you've been talking to us for like, what, 10 minutes?
Mm.
15 minutes? You've already pinpointed Mark as intensity.
Well, that doesn't take long.
Doesn't take long to figure it
And yet,
well,
the only thing in life I take seriously is not taking anything too seriously.
out. That is false, but I will humor you.
Whatever.
and I think the value of that is just the sincerity in action, committing yourself. It's devotion. It's an act of devotion. And in a spiritual context, that is the act of union, right? Through devotion, one road up to the mountain is devotion. And by diving in completely into whatever it is that you're doing, you are a part of it. And as artists, that is what it takes to play the role, or to write the script, and then to do the rest that filmmaking demands.
That's what it takes, man. Mr. Miyagi. Walk left side, walk right side. If you're going to half-ass it, walk down the middle, you're going to get squished. You got to pick something. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. One thing I will not tolerate is anybody half-assing anything. The worst curse people can suffer in this world is getting close to me in a creative sense, because I will demand as much from you as I demand from myself, which is way too fucking much. But that's what it takes to get shit done. You got to take this shit seriously. You do. And by this, I mean fucking anything. Anything. I don't care if it's parenting. I don't care if it's snorting Cheetos up your nose. If you don't do it seriously, you're not going to do it well. And we don't have time on this earth to not do things well.
But also, I appreciate that you described part of devotion as like devotion to a role, because that's what acting is. It's ultimately it's empathy as a craft. right? It's devotion to this person, to if I were actually this person, how would I feel? What would this experience be like? What would I go through?
Yeah.
And people don't realize that. They think they're like acting, oh, it's just playing pretend. And I'm like, yes, but also very much no. You know, like, yeah, the person's pretend, the experience is pretend, but the emotion,
Right.
move an audience, the emotion has to be real.
Right. Yeah, you've got to believe yourself for anybody else to believe you.
Yeah, like if I'm angry or happy or crying, like I really need to be doing that. And if I'm not, even if the audience doesn't understand it, they're going to register it as like this isn't connecting
Right. Right.
to me as a human being.
And that I'm going to take that as a segue into the meaning and the message of this, and kind of going back to this idea of, we commit our lives, so much of our lives. I was, and still am struggling with it in some way of, when I hear the voice of like, oh, this could be an opportunity. Oh, this might be an opportunity to do XYZ, to navigate my way to where I think I will have fame and fortune and whatever it is that I need. When I think of that and I see that, I'm still, but there was a point where I was working the rat race real hard and trying to become something. And in this case, it was a filmmaker rather than a master. Um, and living in New York City, where that is like, just you walk outside and that's in the air. I mean, kind of literally. And so that sense of identity, and in this movie, this woman is just grueling her body, her mind. She is, intercut. The intercuts are really intelligently well done, where she's, I was like, why is she sitting next to a washer and a dryer? Oh, because it's in the basement. Oh, she's like in this underground place, where the man who's already a master, he's got the pedagogy of all these books and all this greatness all around him, of these, great minds. So, presumably. So I want it to be on the bookshelf, right?
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line, I realized that's not going to make me happy. And that's not going to make me feel closer to whatever it is I want to feel close to. So within the context of this film, that's kind of the way I read it, is all of our desire to make something of ourselves so we can make up from all the, broken childhoods that we've all had. What do you guys see as the meaning, the message of this movie as you watch it now, in retrospect?
Want to field that first?
No, you take it. You asked.
Well, it's kind of hard for me to field it as you watch it because I personally hate watching it. I don't like to watch myself. Also, we watched it before the interview just to kind of refresh, and I realized there's about 2/3 of filming it that I actually remember, and about 1/3 of it that I do not remember doing. But to me, it's not her. It's like Abby, to me, she's not proving herself to anybody else. She's proving it to herself that this is what I want and I can accomplish it. And yeah, everyone around me is probably going to think I'm completely insane. And why are you putting yourself through this? And why are you doing all this? Like I literally had a nervous breakdown at one point when we were filming, but it's like, why would you do that? But it's because that's what she wants. And the fact that whether or not people understand that or not does not matter, because your life is your life. And it's not about prestige, and it's not about reaching the bookshelf, so to speak. It's about, can I prove to myself that I can, in fact, do this?
So it's just purely the hero's journey.
I guess. I never thought of her as a hero. I just thought of her as someone that wanted something so badly that she was willing to do whatever it took to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that is a hero. Or alternately, you could take that same storyline and turn it into a villain.
Right.
A lot of it, like no villain in their own story is the villain.
Right.
Every villain thinks they're right, right?
Yeah.
You had a nervous breakdown too?
You lost the footage.
That's why it triggered my nervous breakdown.
Yeah, because I had a nervous breakdown in the laundry room. I remember 0% of what you filmed there. I just remember sobbing. That's it.
Yeah, after she had one, I actually also had a nervous breakdown where I blacked out and came to on an on-ramp to the Garden State Parkway wearing only one sock. That
I
was,
mad.
you were mad?
I was mad. I called you like 800 times. You didn't answer your phone. I was like,
I was not all there. I
I
was
know, but
all elsewhere is where I was.
You broke down, you said, in the car?
that scene in the
No,
laundry room where she's crying and says like, I don't want to, I
no,
just
no,
wants to be over.
I walked to the parkway. Um, yeah, no, I don't remember it. I just remember the first thing I remember. The last thing I remember is kicking through our screen door, and after that, the next thing I remember is someone pulling up next to me, honking their horn, asking me if I was okay. And yeah, there were headlights, there was honking. I had one sock on. Yeah, right
Yeah.
by the parkway, exit 74.
So for
God.
context, the scene where I'm sitting in front of the laundry machine and I'm crying, I just want this to be over. That was actually the second time of us shooting that. The first time,
Third,
it was the third.
second
Okay.
one was just for the trailer.
The first one, we had filmed like straight, what, 2 days straight?
So in
Barely no sleep.
one weekend, we shot 2 videos, 2 short films, and 3 commercials.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, we rented the gear from Autorama, and I'm gonna get my goddamn's money worth. What
That
were
is
you saying?
We
insane.
filmed that scene at the end of that weekend. So initially, when we filmed that, I legit kind of had a breakdown. Like, wait, I just want to be like, it was bad. Like, it's honestly probably a good thing that we lost the footage because it would have been jarring.
No, man, it would have been great. It would have been
Or
fantastic.
didn't recover
Like
the
everyone
footage.
would,
Oh my
so.
God.
But he transferred the footage to the computer, thought it did
Oh,
everything
shit.
okay, and then it didn't transfer properly. And when he realized that, he walked out front door, back door, I don't know. He walked out one of the doors with no shoes on. Mind you, it's winter.
No, I had my shoes on.
No, you did not.
I didn't.
You had no shoes.
Oh,
No shoes, no coat, maybe one sock. Just walked out and like